Let's start with prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for today and just this time that we get to dive into your word and the commands that you have given to us. Let this be a time that convicts and a time that inspires us to live out your word and be obedient to what you have in store. Thank you for this opportunity. In your name I pray. Amen. So 1 John 4:12 says, "No one has ever seen God, but if we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us." So we've all heard the great command, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. And then just like that, love your neighbor as yourself. So what does that look like for Christians? I think a lot of times we have this perception that loving each other just means to be okay with each other. That we don't really interact with people. We don't really break bread with people. But we say we're okay with them. So we're saying, okay, because I'm okay with them, I love them. But let's just think about that. If I'm sitting at a coffee shop and there's a dude sitting at a table across from me, and you could just say I'm okay with him, you would not really say that I love him. In fact, I would say that would almost be a foolish thing to say. You may be able to argue that I'm loving him by not being loud when I'm doing my work. But I don't really love him. I don't know him. I've never interacted with him. I've never had a conversation with him. And importantly, I don't actually know where his fate lies. I don't know what his relationship with God is. So I don't think we could say that I am actually loving the person at the coffee shop who I am just okay with. So what does loving as a Christian actually look like? I think of me and my best friend Austin. We've been through a lot together. There's been times where we've mourned with each other. I remember that about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, tragedy hit, and he was actually living in Dallas at the time. And he calls me on the phone, and I'm in the middle of working out, and I stop everything, I go to my car, and I'm just on the phone with him for the next 2 hours as we're just crying together and begging God to give him mercy. I also remember that when a dear family friend of mine passed away, he came over to my house, and he spent that evening with us, just mourning with my family. But we're not just with each other during the tragedies, we're also with each other when we're rejoicing. I got into Bible college, and he immediately comes over and he takes me out to lunch and buys me Chipotle because he knows it's my favorite spot in the world. And I rejoiced with him when he got engaged. So loving each other means having a relationship with each other, not just being okay with each other. So if we look back at the text, it says, "No one has ever seen God." What is interesting with that is that it's sandwiched by two commands to love each other. No one has ever seen God. If we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us. So it's almost as if we are loving one another, that God's presence, God's love is made manifest among us. Not that anyone has ever seen God, but when we love each other, they're able to look at us with how we are interacting with each other and know that there is something different, that there is something dwelling inside us. So no one has ever seen God. So if we love one another, God abides in us, and his love is perfected in us. Thank you.